Good day, everyone. I am your host, James Hicks from Hicks New Media. Welcome to Perspectives in Focus, where we highlight the people, the industries, and the ideas and the technology that are making positive strides within society. Today is a good day. No, today's a great day. I'm actually announcing and launching this exclusive content series. I've partnered with Mr. Dan Mangena, who is the CEO at Dreamer HQ, to bring our communities, his and mine, an amazing exclusive series of content that will focus on everything from social issues, race relations, succeeding as an entrepreneur, living and working in today's hybrid world. And before we even went live, we were talking about how we can convince our wives to not grab hold to that credit card and book. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll cover it all. Listen, we'll cover it all. We'll look to work with you actually to help us shape the evolution of the discussions. This is the start of a bi-weekly series that we look forward to bringing to you, and we hopefully that you will join the journey. Needless to say, this is going to be the last time that I do this monologue specifically for conscious conversations, because from now on it'll be me and Mr. Dan Mangena. So without further ado, this guy right here. Oh, wait, hold up, wait a minute. What's good, brother?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Oh, look, we got some professionals in the room already. We got Ethan Summers coming in from LinkedIn. I forgot we're streaming to LinkedIn. I probably should watch what I say, huh? No.
This is going to be live, direct, real, unfiltered.
Brother, this is going to be... I've got another show called Unscripted, but this one right here is going to be on a whole nother chain, a whole nother level, because we're going to get into some real things. But listen, first and foremost, thank you for the time. Thank you for this opportunity and this collaboration. Look, check out the lower thirds. I mean, I built some new overlays and some banners. You know, look at that.
I want to say thank you for putting in the work.
Come on now.
Just come. I'm like, I just get to come and hang out with a really cool guy and talk about cool stuff every other week. I'm in. Let's do it.
I love it. But listen, tell folks who you are. I think no one can tell their origin story better than the individual themselves. So if you don't mind going, and I know it's quite extensive. So at the 35,000 foot level, the elevator pitch, who is Dan Mangena, if you don't mind?
Okay. Well, I love to refer to my life as a trilogy, and we're in part 3 of the trilogy right now. And in this part, I get to speak, I get to podcast, I get to connect, I get to impact, all within the confines of my role as what some have defined as being an abundance activator. I'm all about encouraging people to come back to this knowing that abundance is our natural state. It's easy, it's natural. And if we just make a few shifts in how we show up every day, we can start to experience that abundance in our lives in all ways. Leading up to that, there were other chapters that maybe we'll get into over the time that we're going to be hanging out. But in terms of where we're at today, that's what we're doing. And I'm looking forward to bringing that consciousness of abundance into these conscious conversations and inspiring the people to live more abundant, joyful, purpose-driven lives.
Listen at you rolling all of the R's and the syllables. You putting all these complex conversations together, using the right branding there. Appreciate you for sharing that. And again, you've done so much. And I'm gonna say so fast, right? In terms of life, you've been to the mountaintop, you've been to the bottom of the barrel, and now you're close back to the mountaintop, right? I mean, we're always striving to get better,
always,
right? So always. Just like surveys, right? I'll never give anybody a 10. I'll always say they're at least a 9. There's always, there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
Talk to me a little bit. Talk to the audience about being an entrepreneur and being doing what it is that you do, especially remote, right? Because you're kind of geographically dispersed from probably the majority of your clientele. But I wonder, does that really matter since we're living in this kind of new hybrid world and this new digital world and things like that? Talk to us a little bit about doing what it is you do, the professional coaching, the individual coaching, the business coaching, and things of that nature today versus how it was probably when you first started.
So my journey into this started with in-person workshops,
is that too loud?
in-person connectivity.
Is that noise?
It's a little bit loud.
All right, let me bring that down. Don't trip. I can take care of that. Here we go.
Settle. Yeah, under the cover. Right. So yeah, I was doing in-person workshops, in-person events, and the funny thing is that I moved full-time down to Cabo, Mexico, October 2018. So about 6 or 7 months into doing what I do now, I came to settle here, and I was dotting over the border to do stuff in the US, but I had clients and I was doing work in Australia, I was doing work in Europe, I was doing work in Asia, all virtually. So I was already perfectly positioned for the new world that we found ourselves in during the pandemic. And so I haven't really seen major things apart from I did have a couple of signature events that were done in person that we switched to virtual. I've moved back to in-person events since last year. We did an event in October. We've got another one coming up in May, a 3-day event that we do here in Cabo. But there's definitely been more acceptability of people to do things virtual because, you know, you're doing your legal work, your banking, your kids are at school online. And so the limitations that people maybe had in their mind about being coached by someone or developing a deeper working relationship virtually has dissipated. So I was ready, but I think people are more ready to step into that readiness now because of what we've been through over the last 2 years.
Got you. So
what
you
haven't
you
found it?
Listen, I have said honestly that this last 17 months when the world stopped, not even paused, not even just California, not even just the US, but the whole planet stopped. Yeah. This really gave me the opportunity to refocus in terms of what I wanted to do as an entrepreneur, as a content creator, as an advocate. And I use that word specifically. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I'm trying to be an advocate. I love it. And it's allowed me to take that time to focus, right? To make sure that the stories that I'm telling, the people that I'm engaging with, the people that I'm networking with, building relationships and collaborative efforts with. So just like you and I, right? We met at that Podcaster Expert Summit and kind of hit it off from that perspective. And just not the one-hit wonders, right? Just being able to go out and build a meaningful relationship with an organization, with an individual. And if it can be professionally advantageous, great. If it can be personally advantageous, great. But just going with a clear heart, clear mind, and some clarity in terms of where I want to go. So it's actually been pretty good. I've spent a lot of time just saying, I can't be in all of these buckets that I want to. The mind is always going, right? It's like a squirrel, right? I see something, I'm like, oh, I got to go get into that too. but it's really allowed me to say, for this season of my life, I want to make sure that the conversations that I'm having resonate or above the line, kind of above the noise. And let me find someone who I can work with to collaborate with. Oh, let me find Dan Mangena. Let's see what we can do. So yeah, it's been cool. It's been cool.
Love it. And there's one thing, I know that you had another plan, but I want to dive into this because I feel that there's something juicy here that's going to lead to the nature of conversation that we were intending to share with people. And that's the delineation or the difference between advocacy and influencing.
I just don't like the word influencer because I think it's pretentious. I really let me take a drink here. Hold no.
May all the influencers please sit down.
I think it's a self-imposed pretentious title that's now on some people's business cards. And what are you influencing, really, right? I would
put it on their business cards.
Do they still business cards? I don't know.
Someone has to refer to you as an influencer. Isn't it a bit like that? Doesn't really. How does that work?
Yeah, but it can be positive. It can be negative. It could be neutral. But again, what are you influencing me to do something, buy a service, buy a product, or purchase a service? Am I an influencer because I have told someone to go to one of Dan's classes? Am I an influencer because I've told you to go buy this USB charging device for your mobile device? Because I see Mr. Ethan Summers in the room, so shouts out to Fledging, right? But I don't think I'm influencing you. I think I'm an advocate if I also take advantage of that platform, take advantage of that service, and say, you know what, I know somebody who is a good person, is a decent person, has a great message. Dan's got some great content. He's got a great course. Go talk to him. So I would much rather. I see the win in advocating for others and not looking for anything in return. right? I really look at it from that perspective. The win-win for me is to have the two of you or whomever that I'm being the liaison for connect, as opposed to it always having to be, hit me on the Cash App, hit me on the Venmo, or let's sign this PO. I want to take the monetary piece out of it and just start building more real relationships, real networking experiences, and things of that nature. So yeah, Advocate seems to. I looked it up for a long time, and I said, Advocate seems to be the way that I want to position myself.
That rested in your heart a lot better.
It did.
Okay.
I stewed on it for a little while. I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that.
This is how it's gonna go. It's gonna be like this.
Because I'm not used to that, right? I'm not used to. Oh, okay. Dang, somebody asking me the questions. Wait a minute. All right. But that's true. What is it? Conscious conversations making me think, get a little bit deep. Man, let's talk a little bit about the work that you've done, writing books, right, and putting that content out as well, right? I mean, I know some of it's through experience, some of it's through just things that you've seen. Talk to us a little bit about what you got there, because I'm gonna put up a website. I want really folks to understand who it is that I'm talking about. I would love for you to talk about the manuscripts that you've got out there, the teaching and the coaching manuals.
What? The funny thing is that a lot of people come into this world. Oh, he's got the website up.
Look, come on, brother. Come on now. This is a real deal.
Yeah. I didn't come to this work because I had like some hole that I needed to fill in, or like I woke up, I was like, oh, I need to find my meaning and my purpose. That's not why I'm here.
It's a nice beard too. Look at that beard you got there, man. Okay.
Yeah, it was I don't know what happened. It was doing much better numbers. And then I think it's this side, it just started to get a little bit thin, and it didn't really work with the thickness anymore. I trimmed it all the way down once, and one bit was like, I'm upset that you trimmed me. I'm not going back again. So I keep it a little bit more low now. But back to today's scheduled program. My life was good.
Yeah.
I left a very, very good life to come and do what I do now. For those who know London, I lived in Highgate in London. All my flights were first class, right? And I'm talking taking trips. I go and hang out with my buddies in Dubai and New York several times a year, like several, staying in nice hotels. I had a tailor, more wristwatches than I needed. My business was doing 6 figures a month, pound sterling.
Wow.
But the ringing that kept coming up was that everything that I'd been through, and we'll talk about the earlier chapters in the trilogy over the time that we're going to be here, because we don't need to put it all into one session.
Right.
But all of it served more than just giving me some lessons. There was something more. And that didn't interest me in the slightest. I wasn't interested in changing the world. I had a very safe, clean bubble that worked for me. I worked a few hours a week. I got to hang out. I wasn't doing the serious relationship thing. I date and enjoy my life. I was working out, doing my jiu-jitsu. Everything worked and clicked. But that noise, it got louder and louder and louder until such time as I had a very, very visceral meditation experience in the mountains of Santa Fe, New Mexico on a February morning, cold February morning, like pre 6 a.m. And I realized that, yeah, my life was good, but there was something even more yummy if I would just step up and accept the gift that I was given to serve. And so that's why I do now.
That's huge. That's profound, right? To go from that type of a lifestyle, to go from again the wants and the wants to the have no, well, to be plentiful from that perspective, and then to say, I'm still not fulfilled. Which is a very interesting perspective, and I know folks.
But here's the thing, James. I wasn't unfulfilled. That's the crazy thing. Before this noise started coming up, I was very fulfilled. I had a very solid meditation practice, great relationships with my family. I wasn't unfulfilled. I felt whole.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I didn't feel called to answer the call, because there was nothing. It's like, but I'm good. I'm not telling myself I'm good. I'm genuinely good. I'm investing a lot in my personal development. I was taking care of me.
Yeah.
I was whole. I had physical material things, yes, but I also had peace of mind. I slept very well at night. I had the freedom to express myself as I wanted to. I create music as and when I'm in the mood for it. Like I write poetry. Like I wasn't looking for something. I was whole, but there was something more beyond that wholeness that revealed itself to me.
Man, that's I just don't know if enough people, and I'm wondering if I am even right, not mature enough or grounded enough to say I'm going to transition or transfer from this state of being, state of mind to another, and go down another path. Right? You talk about this trilogy of your life, and look, I think you got another. What's four? What's besides the trilogy? A fourth?
The quadrilogy.
You got We'll come up with something new. There's a whole nother one, man.
Part four.
Yeah, there's a four coming. Elon Musk is doing some fantastic things with technology. Who knows? Him and your friend Branson. Who knows what they've got cooking up. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm gonna make an impression when I meet him week after next.
Say that again. Hold on. Say that again. I just want folks to. I'm gonna pause right there. I want folks to know who I'm talking to. Say that one more again. I'm gonna put you on screen right here.
We're not friends just yet, but
wait a minute. Who ain't friend? You talk about your boy. Okay. I'm like, man, you kicked me to the curb, man.
No, but this is one of the things. I mean, iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
And you can't run around being the iron in a room full of bronze chips and expect yourself to get any sharper. So I love, for example, to be the dumbest person in the room. I'm going somewhere where I'm probably going to be the poorest person on the island, and I don't do too bad, right? I'm going to have the least experience on the island, but I've got a lot of years under me. And that's even down to chess, for example. If I keep beating someone at the game of chess, I'm not interested in playing them anymore. I want to do my best and lose, because I'm not a grandmaster. I want to do my best, lose, learn the lesson, and move forward.
Awesome. That's a good point. See, you're still beating around the bush. You're not saying where you're going, but I will just say this, and we're not going to put it out there in the streets. We'll wait till you send the Instagram photos. But I've known a couple of folks that have gone there, and it's been a profound experience just being in the midst of, again, the mind meld that happens. So I think you're going to fit in really well.
My dreams of going to Necker Island, I'm waking up more evolved. So Lord knows what's going to happen when I'm there in person. I'm serious. I'm waking up with epiphanies that came to me in my dream state.
I love it.
I don't remember a time that I've heard of Necker Island and I haven't wanted to go there. Like I've been called there. So when I'm in a high-end mastermind, I'm in a mastermind and a deeper level mastermind, and the opportunity came up to go from a completely random thing that I was introduced to somebody. I didn't know who that the guy was, who he is. So I'm just rattling off, just vibing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, so yeah, and I was just talking to the head of Hay House at breakfast the other day, and and when I was hanging out with Richard Branson, I'm like, what?
You're like, wait a minute, what?
So I don't research people before I meet them.
Okay.
So if you were to introduce me to someone, I'm not going to research them. I'm going to hop on the call, get to know them, and then I go and do my check-in afterwards. But I had to really do some checking because
you wanted to make sure this was legit. You wanted to make it was legit, huh?
No, because of who introduced me to him.
Okay.
I knew he was legit anyway, because that person doesn't introduce funky people.
Got you.
But yeah, he's become very much a mentor of mine since then. Really, really supportive, an advocate for me growing on my entrepreneurial journey, my journey as an advocate, my journey into creating impact and what I want to create. He's been a great support and a great mentor. And yeah, it's facilitated me getting to go out to Necker Island. And I plan to go every single week. I was like, I'm going next year, because this group of entrepreneurs, they go every year. And it's not just the island. So Richard actually comes, he's part of the thing, and we hang with him. We have dinner together and whatnot, and we mastermind, and I might get a chance to present as well. So I'm looking forward to discussing some things around my ideas around philanthropy and bringing philanthropy back to grassroots and taking that grassroots approach into big organizations that have got the budgets to have more of an impact. So that's one of the things that I want to do. I'm very, very passionate about entrepreneurial philanthropy as well, which is philanthropy whereby you're not giving the fish, you're giving the fishing rod, the training, the motivation, the support, and the supply chain in and out. That's what I'm about.
I love that, man, because it sounds like, I mean, you had an opportunity present itself, and I must say you got out of your own way and you said, you know what, I'm gonna make sure I take this opportunity and go be around these like-minded individuals and do my thing, pull out the whiteboard and you know, and the dry erase markers and talk to these folks and pitch these ideas. I absolutely love that. I love that. I wish you nothing but the best. I know that's gonna be a great time. I mean, I had something similar happen just, I think it was it yesterday, 2 days ago? I can't remember. It's like Groundhog Day, all these days blend together. I was interviewing CEO for a company. He was pretty impressed with the production. He was pretty impressed with the way that I did the show and did the stream and did the after conversation. He says, you know what, James, I have an invite for you to come to an Oscars after party. Just let me know if you want to make it, want to come. Don't you know that we book flights immediately? And so, yeah, so Sunday night, I'm flying down to LA to hang out at this Oscars after party. But again, it's one of those things, getting out of your way when opportunity knocks, when the Lord has something that's just out there for you and you act on it. Who knows what the possibilities can be. It may turn into something. It may not turn into something. I think I know yours is going to turn into something phenomenal. But my opportunity of being down there in LA at the Oscars after party, who knows who I'll see. I'll probably bring a camera and do some red carpet interviews. But again, just if I had slipped or slept on this opportunity, who knows, right? Who knows what trajectory that I could have been on. So yeah, man, you'll be 4,000 miles away. I'll be, I don't know, drinking margaritas with Denzel Washington. I don't know who I'm gonna be drinking margaritas.
Tell him I said hey.
I'll be like, hey.
I'm a big fan. Do you know what? I've been really blessed that every single celebrity that I've ever met has been really cool. I remember when I met Idris Elba. Yeah, he was just like a cool cat.
Look, he's a sneakerhead too. I think he raps. He's a sneakerhead. He's all that, right?
Yeah, he's cool. But my wife's not watching this, hopefully. The girl I was dating at the time, we went to the thing.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Oh, gee. He was DJing and we got to meet him. It's just a cool cat. That was back in London.
Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble here, man. I don't want you to get locked out of the house. So yeah, don't. Oh, you in the office right now too? You didn't even go.
I've got my beanbag sofa, so if needs be, I've got somewhere to sleep.
I got you. It's all good. Folks, listen, I see you joining in. Look, this is me and Dan just chopping up, having conscious conversations. Again, the idea is we want to build on the conversation, and we want to build on the structure of this, but the idea is just two similar minded individuals coming at you and just chopping it up, telling stories. But if you've got questions for myself, you got questions for Dan, he's the one that you want to ask the questions to. Obviously put a Q in the comments so we can raise it up and I can bubble it up for you. But let me ask you about running your businesses, from a challenging perspective. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities that you have again now, as opposed to maybe when you started? What do you know better now than you did with kind of your younger self, right? In terms of running a business and coordinating and things of that nature.
So incidentally, it's funny that the thing I'm going to mention about just today, we pitched a couple of media outlets, and I just found out today I've got a TV interview tomorrow, and I'm on Good Morning Arizona on Saturday speaking about this very thing, and that's mentorship. Okay. Mentorship. And one of my mentors, a guy called Greg Reed, shout out Greg if you see this, he's got a saying, seek counsel and not opinions. Seek counsel and not opinions. Because and another friend of mine who also knows Greg has this addition to it. Counsel is someone who's been where you want to go. Opinion is someone who's never been where you want to go. I added to that counsel is someone who's either been where you want to go or supported people in getting to where you want to get to. right?
Okay.
Because Mike Tyson's coach hadn't won the heavyweight belt, but I would have had him train me if I was trying to get there because he knows how to make the thing happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I had, so, part one of my book was I made my first million when I was 19 years old, promptly lost it, made it again, lost it again.
We got a lot to talk about, brother. Just feed him a little bit. Feed folks a little bit. We don't want to give him the whole. We just want to give him the hors d'oeuvres right now. But see, this is where we're going, folks, because we want to hear about that. Keep going, man.
But the point is that one of the things that unnecessarily and needlessly created the situations where those circumstances happened and I ended up losing everything was because I, in the arrogance of my youth, thought I knew everything, didn't need any assistance. For example, the first time I lost everything, it all came down to the paperwork that my business had with our clients had one word instead of a different word.
Wow.
If one word had been different, the government would have been able to take my money from me. But because of one word, and then after that word, because of my attitude,
you went in there acting up, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in there like,
okay.
You know who I am?
Yeah, no, y'all better Google me. Don't y'all know, man? No.
Do you know who I am? This is who I am. They're like, yeah, this is who we are. Thank you. Court order. Bye.
I'm gonna take all these coins and nickels from you. Oh my God.
Everything. So that was a big lesson. So humility. Mentorship. Since then, in this part 3, we've cooked up this concept I call money DNA, and another concept that we speak about in the 2 books that the guys will see on the website, called the flow funnel, that looks at the holistic nature of us as humans. Because my mindset was on fire. Remember, I was 16 years old reading Think and Grow Rich. I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics and listening to Nightingale Conant tapes at 17 and 18 years old. I was reading Plato as a teenager.
Wow. And absorbing and acting on those other books. So,
and acting on those.
Because that's a different thing, right? That you were not just reading them, absorbing them, and enjoying them, but you were actually acting on.
That's what led to the success. However, mindset alone is not going to lead to sustained success. So, like, one of the things I'm really passionate about supporting people with now is sustainable, predictable success.
Come on now.
Formulaic success, because it doesn't have to be a roulette, it can be formulaic. And one of the pieces of that formula is the fact that it's not just our mindset that dictates our success, it's our habits and behaviors. I was too young to have habits and behaviors that would lead to success. And that's where mentorship and humility that affords you the capacity to take on mentorship and to take on counsel comes in. Wow. I didn't have the emotional and energetic experience to operate at the level financially that I was at that time. I didn't have it. And so therefore, there's no container that has the capacity to hold it. 90% of lottery winners go back to exactly where they were within a few short years.
True. Okay, let me ask you something right here, because that just sparked something in my head. And me and a buddy of mine on another stream I have called Team No Sleep, we talk about kind of the social impact of sport. And the conversation keeps coming up about NIL, name, image, and likeness, right? These young college student athletes who now through the NCAA can get paid for their name, image, and likeness, right? They go out to the local BMW shop, stand out there for 2 hours signing autographs, and they can walk out of the door with $50,000 in their pocket. Coming from nothing. Knowing how to play football, knowing how to play basketball, knowing how to do whatever, excel on some playing field, and now being able to get paid for that name, image, and likeness at that young age, 18, 19 years old. They just don't, we're just concerned and worried about them having the wherewithal, the support systems, the just the knowledge of how to deal with that kind of influx of money. When you, as the star running back for Alabama, make just as much as a coach, how you gonna listen to the coach when, again, you're this young kid out there now? All you got to do is go out to the local car dealership and you get to drive home with a new BMW and probably, like I say, $50,000. It's that same type of mentality and same type of mindset. Again, is it being too young, or is it just that you didn't have the support system of the people around you, kind of the team, to say, Dan, this is what you need to do with this money that you got. This is how you really need to funnel these funds, invest and reinvest in yourself. I think about that all the time, and I worry about that, and it seems like it's kind of a synergy to what you were just talking about. Again, just having something coming from nothing, having something, and then not knowing how to really appreciate or value that new something that you have now. I don't know.
There are people with broke habits of all ages, not just kids.
Oh, go man! Come on, man. What my sound effects said? You come in here. Okay, go ahead.
There are people with an abundant mindset that are kids.
Yeah.
It's not about the age. It's about the capacity to learn and integrate the habits and behaviors that lead to the outcome that you want. And that's at any age. The lack of it is at any age, and the gaining of it is available at any age. You know, it's funny that you speak about sports people. One of the things that the business that I wrapped up did was we had an arm, a wealth management arm, that used to work with licensed wealth manager professionals to create, we'd consult on putting together the packages for professional sports people that were moving out of sports and into retirement, because we've got guys making £20,000 a week that are going to retire with no money. They have to go and work.
Yeah.
You know, I've sat down with certain sports people from the Premier League who aren't sure how they're going to make the child support unless they keep playing or go and do something, but they're not getting another contract. And so my job was
I can't fathom that. I can't fathom that. As you say it just doesn't sound right, but okay.
£20,000 a week, $35,000 a week. A week, not a month, a week.
Gosh.
And they're not going to have any money. And so, you know, we'd come in and we put together the package of how they can leverage. Sometimes they maybe had some assets. We had one guy, he had £5 million in some assets, thankfully. And we were able to leverage those and increase his portfolio and help him create some rental income from that, because he had 5 kids, 6 kids with more than one woman, and they all want the child support. You know?
And so 18 years, time 5 at...
Yeah, it's no joke. And so we saw people, it's not just the kids, because when the faucets open, when the taps open, right, and they go through a 3, 4, 5 year sports career, maybe more if you're an extremely well-honed athlete, then, I mean, nowadays they're getting in earlier, but back, you know, when I was my age, you were in your 20s, you were doing it. You weren't going to play for England at 18 years old like some of these kids, right? So you were getting up to your early 30s, like 31, 32, maybe, if you're like doing the thing. But you get your 4 or 5 years, and it's like, okay, you've had all this money. You've not had to deal with the situation of them not having any, because you went from a have-not to a having. And so you don't have the habits and behaviors that's going to facilitate you being able to maintain that container. And so that's because you don't have the emotional intelligence. This isn't me throwing any shade, but you don't have the emotional intelligence to operate effectively at that level of wealth, because there's a difference between rich and having money.
Come on now.
Right.
Okay.
And
come on.
When we talk about old money, when you see how old money shows up, old money's not in the club. Old money doesn't have to prove anything to anybody.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you over here talking bad. Okay, old money is not in the club. Old money's still driving a Toyota Corolla, and you trying to roll out here.
And I know some old money people. One of my best friends, his super duper best friend that he went to school with, he's old money, and he's got a McLaren, he's got this, and he's got that. But guess what? Everything's sheltered in certain trusts, right? His house is paid off. They've got X amount of income from the portfolio that gives him X amount of whatever. So his toys aren't coming out of it. They're not eating into the capital. The capital is still growing. But you're going to go and get a depreciating asset, dip into your seed capital, go and buy a depreciating asset just so you can look good when you step out of the club.
Wow. And man, come on now. You talking from someone who's been there, done it, succeeded, failed multiple times, and you know, right? See again, I'm sorry, I'm rubbing it in. Hold on, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. Let me bring this question up right here, though, man, because Matt Haas is in the building. All things YouTube. Good to see you, sir. What do most people get wrong when it comes to starting a business? And this is this could be a long-winded question, but again, give us kind of the top 2-3 things.
Can I give you the top 2-3?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead now.
The first one is, the first thing that people get wrong starting a business in the first place is you're not built for that life.
Wow. Come on, say that one more again for the people in the back of the room.
One of the top things that some people do, getting wrong starting a business, is even starting it in the first place because you're not built for it. And I throw no shade, but not everybody is made for entrepreneurship. We need to stop the job shaming.
Hey, hold on. I'm smiling like a kid in the candy store because the world according to Chris right here, Mr. Chris Williams, we literally talked about that last night. Not everyone on this planet is built for this life. This is no joke. Look, before we got online, I've been dealing with haters and trolls on Twitter about a post that I put out because I'm over here trying to make some big things happen. And
okay,
look,
I need to see this for reference.
Oh, look, I'll put it up there. But again, we were literally talking about this just last night. That meant it takes so much, not just a thick skin, but a different mindset, right? So Chris was even talking about his wife, well-respected, well-known entrepreneur who will, and he made the analogy of she'll jump off of a building or a bridge and figure out how she's going to land safely on the way down, as opposed to getting in her own way and doing too much planning, doing too much pre-work and saying, you know what, I'm not going to go take this leap of faith, this leap of opportunity until I've got A, B, C, D, everything figured out first, right? No, she's gonna go do it and figure it out as she gets there. And most of the time, she's gonna succeed, right? Before she falls and hits the ground.
But you know, the thing that comes out from that is point number 2.
Yeah.
Those who do step into entrepreneurship aren't playing their position. If you're an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur and allow yourself to be supported by the operator who's going to take care of the planning.
Know your role. Come on now. You can't always be the quarterback. Somebody's got to be the tackle. Someone's got to
play the defense.
Are y'all listening to what Dan is talking about, folks? Come on now. Everybody want to be the captain. Want to have the big C on their chest, on their jersey.
Not everyone's built for it. Not everybody has the vision. Not everybody has the enterprise. Not everybody has the vision. Not everyone has the tenacity and, dare I say, the testicles to be the captain. And those can be non-binary testicles too. We're all inclusive here with our testicles, right? But the fact of the matter is that the entrepreneur who's trying to do all of the planning and the detailing, you're not a detail person. Stop trying to be the detail person. Hire the A player, blue chip detail person to take care of the detail, so you can be in the future leading the vision forward and have someone be there to unfold the day-to-day operations and allow the team to be a team.
Know what you can and cannot do to move yourself and your business forward. So exactly. and so not even just business, right? You from a professional and a personal perspective, right? Know when to tag out, know when to swap somebody else in, know when to let your spouse, your significant other, someone else manage the checkbook for. Well, hold on, I'm not gonna do that. Hold on, we're not gonna do that.
There'll be many cruises.
We was talking about that too, but know your role, know your place, right? I mean, speaking of the spouse thing, I always make the joke with my wife. I may wear the pants, but she holds on to the belt, right? So it's a good 50-50 thing right there. So that's how I stay out of trouble a lot of time. But again, I like what you were saying here about know your role. If you're trying to succeed, can't try to do it all yourself, because then you're just gonna plateau, and then you're gonna get mad because you know you can be at a higher level and you can be at a higher perspective and nor consumption and whatever the case may be, but you didn't bring in an executive assistant, you didn't bring in someone to do the editing,
or if you did it because you like them or you want to do them a favor, and you didn't treat the business like a business, which is another thing. People don't treat a business like a business.
Talk a little bit about that, because that's a good distinction. I know where you're going, but I just want to hear you again, someone who's been there, done that, doing it at another level. I just want to hear that piece.
So, for example, I've got my personal development company, which is one of my things, right? But it's probably the one I spend the most time in, right? Dreamwithdan.com is where I spend the most active time on a day-to-day basis. I have to clearly delineate which parts of what I do are pure service and which parts are business. Right? So that's got a price tag. And if you don't pay it, you're not going to get it. But guess what? I have these things that don't have a price tag. So if you can't talk to me about this number over here, come and do this thing over there. It's not that I'm trying to, I've seen there's been a lot of cancellation going on recently about selling consciousness. I'm not selling consciousness. I'm selling my products and services. I'm selling my time and energy. I'm selling my intellectual property. Right?
Because
that which I've repackaged.
I'm going to use Chris Williams' statement here. You are monetizable. Right, yes. You're selling. Come on now, hey Chris. Hopefully you didn't trademark that already, man. Because I just put it out here in these streets, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, but so there's people out there that are, oh my goodness, I can't do that. They've only got fairy cakes, dude. Your business isn't going to be alive to help anyone if you aren't actually being remunerated for the things that you're doing. So find the way to have that middle ground. I would say to people, so for example, with me, my high ticket offers create the space for me not to need to stress in how much I give away of my free and lower tier things. Right? So I was just having a conversation today. I was working, so my VIP days are X amount, and I was looking at putting together another one that's really going to help people. But I like the people who this is going to help aren't going to have enough money to pay me for a day, because it's not cheap to have me for a day on a one-on-one basis. However, how can I still keep it business, but bring this to a space where everybody can access it? And I sat down, I was noodling with a friend. I was like, oh snap, I can create a group offering which delivers the transformation that I want to deliver, but makes it more accessible. So I'm still allowing people to have the access. I'm still delivering. I'm still not dishonoring my time by honoring a certain amount of time committed to the thing, but it's going to allow me to serve people, but still remember that at the end of the day, there's time, there's money, there's energy that's going into this thing, and it has to be honored and respected. If I'm not respecting myself, how can I be of any service to others and empower them to do the same?
Folks, if you're not respecting yourself, how are you going to be of service to anybody else? We can stop right now, because that's the homework right there, right again, because that hits, I think, I know that hits from a mental perspective, that hits from a psychological perspective. Again, we've all got all these plans written down. We got a lot of stuff.
Is that a Rocket book?
That's Rocket book, man. I live in Rocket books. Like I've got
Rocket.
I've got more Rocket books, but as you know, you only need one. But
why have you got multiple Rocket books?
I don't know. I need counseling, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's got multiple Rocket books.
I got the big one, the 8x11, then I got the little one.
That's exactly why you get a Rocket book. Because you have your gel pens.
Look, this is not supposed to be an intervention, all right? Come on now, let's turn.
I'll get your wife, and we'll do the proper intervention.
No, because next thing you know, you get her, and you'll be buying a Louis Vuitton something for her, not for me.
I've already got one of those going on. I don't need another Louis Vuitton.
Chris Williams talking about, look, love this, Dan. Stay in your lane and respect your time. Again, because he is doing. Listen, as I said at the beginning, and Chris, I'm not sure if you were here at the very beginning, man. I'm really consciously and using clarity to surround myself with people who are forwardly mobile, doing big things and not stuck in a rut, out of their own way. Chris is one of them. Dan, you're one of them as well. But again, just
appreciate that.
Do what you are best at, and find that support team, find that support system who can go and do those administrative things, those ancillary things, the tactical stuff, while you be the face of the business. You're the face of Dream with Dan. We want you sitting in front of the TED conference giving a speech, as opposed to worrying about how much merch did you sell at the door. I mean, is everybody got their drinks? What time? All that other stuff. No, you should be laser focused on delivering the content, delivering the message, and providing value, because that's your expertise. That's what you're monetizing for. Come on now. Oh, I got Mama Hicks in the building. What she say? That's right. If you don't like yourself, how can you help others? Listen right there. That's my mama talking right there. You better listen.
Oh, what? But the thing is that some people, and this is my very first book is called From Time to Time. You can grab it on the website. But it looked at this idea of exactly that, staying in your lane and allowing yourself to do the roles that you have to do, and then shows you how to break it down so that other people can support you in doing the others. You get a multiplication of time, you get a greater level of efficiency because other people will have economies of scale from them having the skills base to specialize in that one area, the specialized skill. But the mistake that the story that I hear from people is, I don't have enough money to do that. I can't do that. Right. And so, you know, if people are listening to how can I stay in my lane? I've got to bootstrap this and that and blah, 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 blah. There's a class that I've got in my program that's called the different types of capital that you didn't know you had. And I'm going to break down what one of those capitals is.
Wow.
That's relationship capital. Then there's another capital we're going to throw in that, skills capital, right? Then we've got energy capital. Then we've got time capital. Not everything requires fiat currency or crypto in nowadays in order for you to get somebody's energy. You could exchange something else. So, for example, when I was coming up and building up this business, people would take they would come and get some coaching, or I would give someone else some coaching that's got something that they need and create a little trade circle so that I can get the support to get to where I need to get to where I can start saying, hey, let's do a little cash and let's do a little layaway plan.
Yeah.
Can you at least tackle this piece of it? And I'm going to bootstrap the rest of it, but get it to here with the budget that I've got. And then before you know it, especially when you're scaling by doing this across the board, you're going to be doing numbers.
There's the win-win, right? There's going to be the financial, the monetary numbers that you talk about, and then the networking increase because you're gonna build that portfolio. You're gonna build that. Then you're gonna have the money.
I think there was a reason why I liked you. I think it's a reason I liked
you. At the end of the day, it's always in the conversation. It doesn't have to be the main thing. Look, it's the same conversation that I have with a lot of tech startups, right? They'll have like a free app in the app store. I'll meet them. I'll go to a conference and say, okay, that's a great app. I love the app, but what's your monetization strategy? When are you going to start charging the 99 cents or the $1 or whatever for this app? Because if you don't, you're not going to be around. So don't try to give me a free app that's filled up with ads that don't provide value. If you got something that's providing value and a high margin of utility, people pay attention to what they pay for. And we will pay for quality. That's why we will go and buy the Lulu. What is it? Who is it? Well, I didn't buy it, but my wife bought some. Let me tell you something. She bought me some Lululemons. Okay. I see what's going.
Really? I've spent a lot of time with Olga. She was trying to put me in some Lululemons. I was trying to get out of the store.
My wife got me some Lululemons, and yeah, man, that's the real deal. Holyfield. And I got these melon hats. You know, this is $50 hat. If my dad was listening right now, he'd start itching if I told him, you know, this hat was $50. But look, them little premium luxury brands, you get what you pay for. I'm not gonna buy any more, but I had an extra, Google check come in, and I said, let me go do some things. So I went. But again, people back to story, because again, like I said, I'm a squirrel. I'll deviate or I'll pivot. Folks, this is what you're gonna get: conscious conversations. Only Dan is going to keep us on track. I'm gonna be going on.
Don't give me that responsibility.
What was I saying? Pay attention to what you pay for. People pay attention to what they pay for. Pay for quality and pay for something that resonates with them. The high margin of utility. What's what I'm talking about? Money could come along if you are trying to promote. True. There you go. If you show interest in what you are doing, a person will follow. I like that. Oh, look at mom with the gems there. Okay, I heard that. You are going to be gone for a while. Let me ask you, to the point of just from a business perspective, autopilot for your business. Right, because listen, you're going to be somewhere, and you're going to be focusing on what you're focusing on there. And what's the mode or the method that you're going to be utilizing that you could probably share with other entrepreneurs or maybe smaller folks that could say, how can I don't have to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. I can actually get to a point where I can go pivot and do something else,
Mm-hmm.
and the core of the business keeps going, right? So how are you going to be gone for X number of weeks and still be able to do these types of things? And how can some other folks that are in the game as well kind of get to that point? Some tips and best practices, maybe.
Okay, so it's not just this week. I don't take calls Mondays and Fridays. I don't work in December. Last year I didn't work in November. I'm not working in July, and we're still going to be fine because I've actually got a business. If you can't step away with it, you haven't got a business, you've got a job.
Ooh,
I learned that early on. One of my early coaches is the one that taught me that if it's not going to operate when you're not there, you're deluding yourself thinking you've got a business. You haven't. You've got a job.
When you got flexibility, like, oh, look, see, I was just talking about these hats. Here come my dad right here too, right? Hello. That's pretty profound though. But again, you had to get to a point to where you can divide your schedule out like that, right? So,
yeah, it was but the thing is that I've built this I learned that lesson with a business that I had 9 years ago. I learned that lesson. I got that far. That painful statement was made to me 8 or 9 years ago, right? And so since then, I've always built businesses to be businesses. I built them so that they are actually businesses, something that can be a living organism that functions on its own. So with my personal development company, for example, the only thing that gets my personal time is I do a mastermind call 2 or 3 times a month. The rest of them, we've got guests. I do the live in-person workshop experiences and the virtual experiences. I do the podcasts, but I only record those 1 week of the month. I do the podcast recording.
Okay.
The one-on-one coaching is done by my coaches. I do the VIP days, but the VIP days we're looking at, that's it's $15,000 to have me for the hours of that day, 25 for the weekend if someone's going to fly into Cabo or have me virtually. So it's worth my time, and it's when I'm available,
right?
When it's mutually, I think we said there's flexibility. I'm not, oh my God, I've got to get to the computer for the call, right? And so all of my highest mainstream openly available offer, I've got more that are more, but the 40,000 offer, I don't do anything for the delivery of that at all. The offer we've got to pay $40,000 for, everything's completely delivered by my team, completely systemized and automated without my involvement. Do I get involved sometimes? Yes, I have to, a few phone calls here and there, to keep, but I'm not slogging away at it every day to do the delivery on that offer.
But
the
you built
$25,000 mastermind, it cost me 3 hours out of my month.
Okay.
Maybe 4.
Interesting. Okay. But let me ask this at the foundational piece of that. You had to set that. You had to set that foundation. You had to build it, and you had to get it to a point, to a level where it can now be sustainable. It can now be kind of on an auto.
And this is the thing, you don't do it wrong so that you can one day get it right. You do it right from the very beginning.
Go ahead, brother. Come on now.
Right?
Yeah.
So from the very beginning, I would not allow more than 5 people to work with me on a one-on-one basis.
Okay.
So that means on any given week, I can have a maximum of 5 hours of work commitment at any given time. So that was from the beginning.
Watch out, Tim Ferriss.
I'm going to burn out now to get it right later. From the beginning, that was the structure.
Okay.
Now, was there a trade-off? Yes, because as I was stepping into charging my worth, the amount of remuneration that I got for that time crept up over time until it got to the point where it was X amount. All right. But still, I had dominion over my time and my schedule.
You using some words there that I'm definitely writing down, boy. Okay.
But do you see where I'm coming from?
I do.
It was structured around that from the beginning. If I'm going to do a retreat, a workshop, a thing, it's on my schedule.
Man, you said some things there that I really want to make sure resonate. I'm gonna make sure I chop that up into some micro content pieces. Good to see my man Charles Jackson in the building. Talk about that's good. And the statement that you made that I don't want to gloss over You said you charge for your worth. Next time we get together, we're going to dive really deep into that because again, as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is still feeling their way around these streets, right? Again, you've been there, you've done it. You've been there, you've done it. You've got the experience. But again, what is that run rate look like? What does that marketing plan? What does that look like when Charles Jackson goes out and says to someone brand new? I'm just saying him because I see him right there in the comments right now. But again, what is that charging of the worth for X, Y, and Z service or product or capability?
Can I say for everyone, this is the thing where to start for everybody. You have to have a clear vision for the life that you want to live, right? Then you have to know how much money facilitates that lifestyle. Then you have to understand how much time are you willing to put a max cap on of yours in order to achieve that. So for me, I'm not interested in having more than 10 hours a week of dedicated work time. And even that's a push for me. So everything over that is because I want to, not because I must. Right? So then you have to divide that amount of hours that you're going to work by that amount of money that you need to live the life that you want to live. And that's a formula for the target that you need to be hitting for. Now, not everybody's going to be comfortable with that number just yet. So this is what you do. You put that number down as what you're shooting for, and you do what I call microshifting. You drop to where you are comfortable. It used to be $100 an hour to work with me.
Okay.
It's not $100 an hour anymore.
Right.
But when I was charging $100 an hour, it was knowing that right now, this is what I feel comfortable, that I can speak with conviction. So the energy of this claiming is transferred to the person I'm in this conversation with so that they feel empowered in giving me that money so that I can serve them at the highest level. Right. And then I set a timer at which I'm going to reinvestigate how comfortable I am with moving the needle on that. For me, it was every 3 months. Every 3 months, I'd sit down and I'd say, okay, how do I feel about dropping this hourly nonsense and putting together a package that's this amount? And then I'd look in the mirror and I pretend that I'm asking for it and I see how I feel in my body. And then I drop it a little bit until I'm comfortable. Then I'd push it a little bit beyond that space of comfort and I go out and make that claim. And then in 3 months' time, I go and do it again. So I went from $100 an hour to saying it's a minimum. You have to pay $500 for the month and you're going to get X amount of time, to I think it was $2,500 for 3 months. And then it went to $6,000 for 3 months. And then one-on-one coaching with me went up to $20,000. But because of how I moved through that, because of how I navigated the journey into being able to claim that, and also along the way, I'm getting to witness the results that I'm getting in people's lives. So I feel in integrity. Integrity is a big thing for me. I feel in integrity demanding that. Does that make sense?
No, that makes complete sense.
Now you can't even get me as your one-on-one coach on a long period of time. You can come and pay $15 and sit with me for the day and we're going to do something.
Right.
And if you want on the right. So, but it started with me asking for $100 an hour because that's where I felt comfortable, but I was always looking to move the needle on that. And I set a dedicated time that I'm going to actually challenge that number and say, look at myself in the mirror and say, are you honoring your value right now? Are you ready to step it up? And then go and do it.
That right there, I think, is a huge missing piece in a lot of solopreneur entrepreneurs puzzle. That critical path, to use words from my industry, just that piece of saying, I'm doing what I'm doing okay right now. I'm making the ends meet. I got some food in the refrigerator. I'm just trying to make it plain, right? But just I'm comfortable. But at some point in time, I've got this book of business. I've got this legacy of work. I've got these testimonials. I've got these recommendations. At some point in time, I need to have it on the calendar to say, this $100 now needs to go to $250, or it needs to now go to the bundles, the package deals. You need to continually evolve. And I think what's happening is a lot of time folks get complacent, get comfortable, and get content with what they're doing. They're doing okay, but scared and intimidated to jump out of that comfort zone into that next level. That's how I think a lot of times folks just don't grow.
Can I just throw something in the mix there?
Come on now.
That doesn't change. Last year, I was stuck at 120. I think I was stuck around 120, but I hit 140 once last year for most of last year. That's what I was per month,
Okay.
right? And I had to do the work that I put other people through. I got one of my coaches to take me through our process in order to break through that.
The coach himself needed to coach just to make sure
it doesn't stop.
I
remember one of the things that Richard Branson had said in an interview. He said, "I'm always trying to do too much and I've never got enough money." That man has started $7 or $8 billion companies. And he says he's always trying to do too much and never got enough money. I know some very wealthy, successful people. They're always moving the needle. Yeah. It's never going to get, if you're really about this life, you're never going to be comfortable.
That right there is where we're going to end it. Look, it's like a crack dealer right there, boy. No, that's right. Like we gonna give you some of these methamphetamines or what? I don't know about these. I'm just saying that's that crack right there. We gonna drop that on you right there, and that's where we gonna pick up. So shouts out to everyone that's coming in.
Thank you.
Kevin Cox is in the building. Good to see you there. James Riley is in the building. West Side. Good to see you. But so conscious conversations, y'all. Perspectives and focus. Conscious Conversations. This is a collaborative with me and Mr. Dan Mangena right here. Every 2 weeks, except for the month of April, because he's going on hiatus to Necker Island. But this is the kind of conversation that we're going to get into. We're going to pick up right there when you come back, because I really think that folks want to hear that conversation. What I know is, so I lock down comments to only people that are subscribers to the channel. I thought about making commenting actually a premium offer to where you had to actually had to be a member, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to ostracize anyone like that. But I think look, it's all about we trying to get this money, right? Trying to get these Google checks. But the dialogue that we're having, and I'm seeing it in the comments, I don't want to lose that. I'm going to capture these comments, and again, I want folks, if you just now joining, to watch the remainder. Go back and join the replay squad. Check this out. Me and Dan are going to be doing this bi-weekly when he gets back from hanging out with Sir Richard Branson, and we're going to pick up on that conversation right there. But this is what it's all about: raising the level of the conversation, getting above the noise, talking social impact, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about social issues, talking about getting out of our own way. Man, golly, bro, I don't want to let you go, but I know you got to go pack them Bermuda shorts.
I'm gonna have to bring a bottle of the good stuff and leave it in the office.
You're gonna have to bring some. You got to bring some.
In fact, I'm gonna be grabbing there's this lovely tequila añejo extra that's for sipping. I'm gonna get that in a glass and come and leave it here so I can join you in the festivities.
Tell Mom where that lovely accent comes from, brother.
I'm from East London in the UK. I live in Cabo, Mexico, but I'm from East London in the UK.
There it is. We global. Listen, Dream with Dan, Hicks New Media. We global right now, folks. We doing it big. Before we shut down, today was going to be the last time, like I said, that I do the monologue. From now on, it's a joint collaborative. When we start, we're going to start on this screen right here. Tell the folks real quick before we head off, though, man, where you are and where they can keep up with you. I'm gonna make sure that everything's in the description and for the session. But tell folks again real quick about Dan Mangena.
Head to dreamwithdan.com. Really easy. Everything about me is there. You can see my books, the podcasts I'm doing, my blogs, my articles in Entrepreneur. If you head to the media page, you'll see some of the TV slots I've done talking about some of this in the mainstream. But yeah, dreamwithdan.com.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Be good to yourself. Have fun. Come back and don't get in any trouble while you're out there, man. All right.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Appreciate you, man. Hey, folks, if you like this, share it with somebody. Again, we're trying to bring some real conscious conversations to you. We're trying to raise above the noise and give you some meaningful dialogue. So with that, be good to yourself. We out.